Amigos, welcome back. For those who are new to me, my name is Adiola, and I share my experiences as a single woman living here in Merida, Yucatan, Mexico. All right, so if you've been watching me for a while now, but you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that by clicking on the subscribe button. It is absolutely free. And if you are already subscribed, thank you so much. And you can still engage with me though by just clicking on the like button so that YouTube knows that you found value in my video. And you can also leave a comment if you want to chime in to this video. All right, so today's video will be a follow-up to the last video that I did on how much the contract was and how much I signed with Cava Construcciones. And similar to the video, again, I'll just be sharing some of his social media posts so you can also, have something to also watch while watching this video. So in that previous video, I shared some of the biggest mistakes that I made and that I'm still trying to recover from and just learn my lessons, and some red flags that I also overlooked. But such is life. You live and you learn. Now, I shared in the previous videos that the contract that I signed was a 1,007,102 pesos and 9 centavos. Now then, the exchange rate was about $1 to about 16, less than 17 pesos. So I would put that conversion, not the current conversion. So let's say $1 to 16 pesos. But this video, the currency will all be in Mexican pesos. So I signed a contract for over 1 million pesos. And then on the same day that I signed the contract, which was on October 5th of 2023, I paid him 40% of that. So, and I did say in that previous video that that was a mistake that I made, and I'll never recommend that to anybody. Do not pay anybody that much. It doesn't matter how reputable the companies. I will recommend, first of all, not paying them the material and labor. But if you do have to, then I would say no more than 20%. Well, at least, it depends on the contract though. If it's a 5 million pesos contract, if it's a 3 million pesos contract, then of course 20% will be like 600,000 pesos, right? Which will be a lot. So I would say like no more than 100,000 pesos, and then they can figure this themselves out, and you can just pay them the rest as you see progress. So yeah, so in my case, that was a mistake that I made. So now, how much did I actually give him on that particular day of October 5th of 2023? So like 2 years ago, right? I paid him in Mexican pesos. So I'm going to put in Mexican pesos and also the exchange rates then. Then it was about $1 to 16 pesos, 16 point something. Then I paid him 402,840,000 Mexican pesos. And I paid him through White. So again, I'm going to be sharing that, the receipt that proved that transaction. So on October 5th, I did that. I paid him through Wise because there was a maximum limit that I could pay him on my bank, and that should have been like a sign, like, okay, don't sign this. And something else also happened on that day. That was like, no, don't go. Anyway, so and then he now gave me a payment plan which was supposed to coincide with the construction updates, right? Because he told me that it will take him 3 months. So according to the contract, he said that it will start building on October 9th and then finish on December 31st of 2023. So just 3 months to build this structure, a 2-story building, October 9th to December 31st. But he actually didn't start on that week because he told me that for some reason the workers didn't show up. Because even when I signed a contract on a Friday, I was like, are you sure you have people to start on Monday, like 3 days from now? He was like, yeah. Again, that's what scammers will tell you. Like, they just want to gain your confidence and assure you, even though you know and they know that what they're telling you just doesn't make any sense. But I was like, okay, well, I guess he's a contractor, so he has his team already, right? So I guess that is possible that they can start, because also we have been talking about signing the contract. So I assume that he probably has a team on standby already. So he told me, okay, next week Monday we're gonna start, but he actually didn't start on that October 9th. He started the following week, which was, I believe, October 15th, October 13th. And he gave me a payment plan. I might actually go find the PDF of this, and I'll just put it here on the screen. So he gave me a 12 weeks payment plan, which will liquidate the rest of the 60% over the next 12 weeks. So over the next 3 months that he built. The payment for each would have been 50,355 pesos and 10 cents. And that would have been what I would have paid him every single week up until December 31st, when he would hand me the keys to the house. So, like I said, he actually didn't start building on the 9th that he said. So, and he started the following week, meaning that he was late already by 1 week. And the payment plan that he gave me, even looking back now, I'm like, okay, it doesn't make sense to give somebody that much money upfront, 400,000. And now all of a sudden, a few days later, like literally 4 days later, because here it says October 5th, I will pay him the deposit of over 400,000 pesos. And then on October 9th, so 4 days later, he wanted 50,000 pesos, just like that, right? So that should have been something that I should have actually looked into, like, hey, why do you need money, just 4 days after? Right? Like, I gave you some money just last week, like a few days ago. Why do you need some money? So again, that was another mistake that I also made, right? Like, it's impossible to spend that much money within just 4 days, because with construction, you pay them obviously, at the end of the job. But because I was paying him for labor and material, so he will need the money for the material before actually doing the job, right? So that's why this case was kind of complex. Actually, it was easy, but I just said, okay, trustworthy guy. So yeah, so that was October 9th. I was expected to pay him, even though he didn't even do anything on that October 9th. He started the following week. So now let me quickly go through what I actually paid him. So here it has 12 estimates over 12 weeks, but I only made 6 payments, right? Which again, looking back, I was like, wow, how did I even do that? So on October 12th, then that's when I paid him the next amount. And actually, the crazy thing was that this guy was coming after me for money. He would send his assistant to remind me that, hey, I was late on my payment, right? And in another video that I do, just quickly going through the contract, I will share the contract that we signed. So you think, because this guy signed a contract with me, he would actually honor that contract, because the contract said he will be penalized for not delivering on time, the same way that I would also be penalized for not paying him on time. So from the beginning, he broke the contract already by not actually starting the project on the day that he said he would. But hey, I continued to pay him anyway. So on October 12th, I transferred him, the payment I was supposed to transfer him, the 50,355 pesos and 10 cents on October 12th, because that was actually when he actually started. And then the following week on October 20, right? Because here on the payment plan here it says October 16. But yeah, because he started a week later, then I also made adjustments to my payment as well. So on October 20th, then I paid him 50,355 pesos and 10 cents. And yeah, and then I think I went to my sister's wedding in Canada, and then also between that October and November, then that was when all sorts of lies started to pop up, right? Every single week he would have all sorts of excuses. The fact that he was raining and the workers didn't show up, and then every month he would change the workers. Every month he would change them. And then when it came to supplies, he would tell me that the suppliers were not delivering because the truck was broken. So it was just a bunch of stuff going on. So I was just like, you know what? Since you are not giving any updates, I would also pause on my payment. So I didn't make payment. And also his assistant, I think, quit, right? So this guy, everybody around this guy, they were quitting, which that should also have been a red flag, right? He would change the workers on the site, and then his assistant left. And then he would tell me that he was behind on work because he had no assistant. Eventually, he would hire an assistant. I was like, okay, when you hire a new assistant, then I guess we will resume payment, and also I need updates from you. And then on November 15, when I came back, I also made the biggest mistake also. I made the biggest mistake because what happened was eventually he made some progress. Between that October 20 and November 15, he made some progress. Because sometimes what will happen is when I keep complaining, then he will go and just add maybe one more line of blocks, right? Just, some update. And I will share some of the pictures because I've changed phones since then, but I was able to save some of my pictures. So I'll share some of the updates that he was sending me. But fortunately for him, between October 20 and November 15, he made some updates. And also because now we were in the middle of the project and he had only built one floor so far. We were supposed to build 2 floors, and this project was supposed to be done in December. Really, I was thinking maybe January. So 6 weeks from now, this project was supposed to be done. I wanted the project to be done at least on time. If possible. So I was like, okay, let me now catch up on the payment. Let me catch up on the payment so that now he doesn't have any excuses, right? Even though the excuses he was making were not even related to my payment. They were just, suppliers and his workers and his assistant and such. So I was like, okay, let me just send him, and catch up with the payment plan, because now I've only made 2 payments and I think I was behind by 4 payments based on the payment plan that he gave me. Let me pay him the 50,355 pesos and 10 cents for the last 4 weeks, right? That I was waiting for him to give me a reasonable update. So I sent him 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I sent him 4 payments of 50,355 pesos on November 15th. Now, this guy must have gone crazy, like when I sent that money to him. First of all, when I sent him the 400,000 pesos the month before, and then now when I sent him just 200,000 pesos in just one day, I'm sure he probably went crazy, like, wow, I have made it in life. I've hit the jackpot, right? I've hit the ultimate jackpot. So on November 15th, I sent him over 200,000 pesos. On that day, because I was okay, I really need this project to be done on time, so let me send him the money so at least he can just try and finish it on time. Meaning that by now, so between October 12th and November 15th, within just 1 month, I had sent him 704,971 pesos and 44 cents, almost 705,000 pesos. Within just a month, I had sent him that. Now, did he stop with the excuses of workers not showing up, of suppliers not delivering? No. His lies and his excuses remained the same. Maybe, inspired by the video that I made on the crazy carpenter, I might actually go through his WhatsApp messages that, he was sending me. And if I'm able to find some of his lies that he sent me on WhatsApp, I might also attach them here somewhere in Spanish, because I know some Spanish speakers actually watch this video so that they can actually see what their people are doing, even though it also happens to them as well. So now November 15th, I had sent him 704,971 pesos. Now tell me, what I sent him, right? Does it actually correlate with what I was supposed to get, or even close to what I was supposed to get? So let's say he had built 2 floors and it no plastering, no painting, but at least he shows me something that's worth that much. At least it would have been okay. And also during that time, I kept asking him for the electrician. Has he gotten back to you yet? Because here we're building, but really we need the electric plan. Again, he would tell me all sorts of lies. The electrician was busy, all sorts and all sorts. Eventually, I think in November or December, he told me that the electrician couldn't come to the site because it was too far. I was thinking, wait, didn't you tell this guy from the beginning where the building site was located from the beginning? So I was like, so what would have happened if you had given me the quotes and now the electrician was supposed to come work and now he doesn't show up? And even still doesn't make sense because there are so many electricians, and as a contractor I'm pretty sure he knows a few electricians that he could have sent to the site. But obviously this guy had the intent to defraud me from the very beginning. He had what? He had the intent to defraud me from the very beginning, right? Because nothing that he was telling me made any sense. Suppliers not delivering, the truck was broken, even though there is a supplier store in my neighborhood, like 2 blocks down. So many other stores in my neighborhood, and this guy drove a pickup truck. And then on November 15th, I decided to just pause. Okay. And then I would just keep messaging him. And then also I asked him for a construction timeline, which he should have given me from the very beginning. The construction timeline will tell me what should be done every single week up until when the job should be done. So eventually in December, I asked him, okay, let's meet at the site so you can tell me what's going on exactly. In December, mid-December, we met, and then he eventually gave me the construction timeline in December when the project was supposed to be almost done. So after 2 months of going back and forth, asking him for the same thing, construction timeline, this guy eventually gave it to me after 2 months because what? He had the intention to defraud me. Like, he had no intention to actually build me anything. He had no intention. He just wanted that money quickly. And in a follow-up video, I'm going to be sharing what his wife told me when we went to Profeco, like what he did with my money. So in December was when I met with him, like, hey, what's actually going on? Like, we were supposed to be done in December, like in 2 weeks, and this is like 20% done, right? And then he now gave me an updated construction timeline whereby the construction would end like end of January, right? End of January, like first week in February. So he sent me that timeline, which again, I would actually share here as well. And so what happened was his assistant now sent me a text message, like in December, I believe, asking me for payment. Can you imagine? In 1 week, I had sent this guy almost 705,000 pesos for the construction. And he had only spent about 120,000 pesos. But this guy was now sending his assistant to come after me for payment. Because remember, I said this guy wasn't giving me any updates. And when I keep insisting, then he would do a little bit. And I will share a picture that he sent me of one of his workers. Now tell me, in this picture, like, you have a guy holding a cell phone in one hand and then holding like a spatula on the other hand, and this guy was dressed really clean. Construction workers, they're not clean like that because they're covered in like dirt, dust, cement, all sorts, right? They usually have work clothes, right? They have work clothes, and then when they're done, then they shower and then they actually wear their regular clothes to go take the bus. So that, I mean, that's what you do. I mean, when you do such jobs, like, you will have your work clothes. When you're done working, then you change into your cleaner clothes. This guy had like regular clean clothes on, and he had a cell phone on one hand, right? So they were just posing for pictures, and they thought I was a fool, and I would actually fall for that. Because again, remember in the last video, I said that he had created a WhatsApp group with me, him, and some of his team members, and also his business partner, who actually was an employee. So that partner was actually the manager who was managing my site. So he would post updates, picture updates on that WhatsApp group, like, hey, okay, here's what we're doing, here's what we did, right? So this guy was just holding a clean spatula on one hand and then a cell phone on the other hand, and they expect me to believe that they were actually working. So I just said, okay, yeah, great. But because at this point, this guy already had 70% of the contract, right? He already had 70% of the 1 million pesos I was supposed to pay him for the construction, right? So then the ball was in his court, right? And now I was at his mercy, right? So now it was not a matter of me now chasing after him for updates so that I could see where he spent my money on. Like I said, the lies all continued. So when his new assistant, when she now sent me a message, I blasted this girl. Actually, I should have called them both and cursed them out. So I responded to her. Again, I will share the original Spanish message that I responded to her. To translate, I said, hey, why don't you go to your boss and tell him to build my house to 700,000 pesos worth. Because what I'm seeing right now is obviously not even up to half of that. 1/3 if I'm lucky. Go ask him to build the house up until the amount that I sent him, and then I can resume payment. And so that was pretty much it from her. And also that was it from him. So again, just going back and forth, asking him for update. So to summarize, right, what I paid him. So I sent him 6 transfers of 50,355 pesos and 10 cents. But initially I paid him 40% of the contract, which was 402,840 pesos and 84 cents. So in total, that was 704,971 pesos and 44 cents. And I'm gonna put the currency exchange of that period, like 1 to about 16 pesos thereabouts. Now, how much did he actually spend? So we did an estimate, myself and my engineer, and also an expert. Again, that expert, it's another story time, okay? We did an estimate on what he actually spent on the building, on the project itself, and I'm going to be sharing that in another video because I have a report that I got from my contractor on what he actually spent and what he told me he was actually going to do on the building that he claimed he did, but he didn't. So he made like a full detailed report on the things that were missing on the construction site that he claimed he did and he spent money on, but he didn't. So this is another thing about working with shady contractors, fake contractors, contractors who are experimenting with your building, even though they came highly recommended. I'm going to do another video on what made me to choose this guy, aside from the fact that he was responding really quickly. Because this guy actually took me to some construction sites that he was in charge of. So it wasn't like I hired someone who would only fix somebody's toilet or who would only upgrade somebody's kitchen. No, he took me to construction sites of, buildings, like they were building from foundation up. So I'm going to be going over this document in the next video, the follow-up video, because I actually want to go over some of the things that the engineer who actually worked on this project, some of the reports that he gave, and it's all in Spanish. So I'm gonna translate it into English, and I might actually do a screen share or a screenshot of it, of this report. Let me know what you think about this video. So up until now, this guy hasn't refunded one peso of that 700,000 pesos. Now, of course, he spent some money on the building, so I wasn't expecting the entire amount. Just whatever that was left over, just send it back to me. In one of the follow-up videos that I'll be doing, I will also be sharing what he told me when he realized that I found out that he was actually defrauding me. What he told me he was actually going to do. Okay, so that is pretty much it. How much I gave him, how much I invested on the project, and now it's been 2 years already, and we're still waiting on updates. So that is it. How much I gave him, how much I spent, all the mistakes that I did, the red flags that I ignored, only because I had faith in a young and ambitious guy. Now before that, we had like a little bit of a friction, and I'm also experiencing that with another engineer slash architect at the moment. What happens, it happens with any business relationship, is that at the beginning you guys will start well, and then during that business relationship, the journey, something can go left. And one thing that I found out is that when that thing goes left, it's usually because you decided to speak up for yourself, because you decided to confront a situation that was going to put you in trouble. You decided to speak up against injustice, unfairness. Someone was trying to take advantage of you, but you decided to speak out, and now they are mad, right? So I should have actually walked away when we were having some issues during demolition, right? But I was like, you know what, like, he's a young and ambitious guy, and I was even telling him, I was like, you know what, so far you've been professional, you've been good. Okay, let's just continue with the project, right? Because now having to go and find someone else to now take over and such was I just like, okay, let's just continue with this guy. So one other lesson that I've also learned is that do not be afraid to start over. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work. You're gonna have a lot of delays, right? Now with this project, it was supposed to be done December 2023. It was actually finished in February of 2025. So how long was that? Like a year and 3 months later, right? That it was actually finished. So do not be afraid to fire people. Do not be afraid to walk away from a situation that is no longer serving you, even if it hurts that other person. Now remember that other person was trying to hurt you in the process, right? So that's one thing that I'm also learning. Speaking up for myself and standing up for myself, even if it's gonna hurt that other person, because hey, by the way, this other person was trying to actually hurt me without caring about the outcome, right? And one thing that I'm also learning is that to treat people the way they treat you, not the way you expect them to treat you, but the exact way that they treat you. So if it's deceit and lies, then also give them the same. Because working with some of the blue worker professionals here, they just make up all sorts of lies. I said, okay, you know what? Two can play this game. I'm also gonna turn into a liar, right? You're telling me you're having issues, and so that's why you couldn't complete the job. You know what? I'm also having issues, so I can't make payment. Now we're even. Now we are even, right? That is one thing that is becoming revealed to me. The fact that people think that you are swimming in money without knowing that, you probably spent several years, many years, saving this money, and now you decided to invest it with somebody that you're actually trying to help out. Let me know about some of the other mistakes that I made that that you probably would never make. One thing, I did two mistakes that I made. One was the fact that I agreed to pay for materials and labor together, because then I thought that buying materials would have been too much for me, even though eventually that's what I had to do, with this house. And second, actually three mistakes. And then second was that I paid him a large amount upfront. And the third was that I kept paying him even though there was no progress, or there was very little progress. So my progress didn't correlate with his progress. So those were the three biggest mistakes that I made with this project. And am I gonna make those mistakes again? The answer is absolutely not. So it doesn't even matter if the person comes highly recommended. So this building, it is not finished, because the picture that I show you here, this is what I was supposed to get. And this is what my contractor eventually finished and he gave me, right? But I still need to complete the raise. So right now I'm also talking to another contractor, and he actually sent me a budget. It included labor and material. I was like, not again. Please go and redo this budget, but with only labor. Only labor, not labor and material, because now with labor and material, it means now I have to give you money upfront in advance. But if it's only labor, then I pay him after, not before. And also his budget that he gave me said I will pay him 50% upfront. I was like, definitely not, of course not. But I think it was only 50% of every job. So not 50% of the whole contract like I did with this fake contractor. I think his was like, okay, for example, let's say we're gonna dig up foundation. It'll cost 20,000 pesos. Of course, it costs more than that. Okay, let's say it costs 100,000 pesos to dig up the foundation and build the foundation. So you're gonna pay him 50,000 pesos of that. So it includes labor and material, right? I was like, no, it's okay. Just give me the cost of labor only, and then how I will be in charge of materials. And also, that also works for me because then I can use my credit card and I can get some points with my credit card, and I can also choose the quality that I want and not their quality. So yeah, that's it. Now, thank you so much for watching this far. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do click on the subscribe button. Remember, it's free. You can also leave a comment in the comment section below if there's anything you want to add to this video, any tips, suggestions, because yeah, I will definitely need that, and lessons learned. And if you are in the construction phase or you're planning on building here in Merida, you have any questions for me, you can also leave it in the comment section below. All right, thank you so much for watching this far, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.